I'm Patrick.
And this is Will.
And I'm Chris, and we are Guys with Issues. Issue number something. I don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
What are we on?
What are you keeping
What is it,
track
8?
for?
There we go.
Pretty sure this is 8.
Issue 8.
Yeah, we're here. You guys are here listening. The 1, 10, 100,000. None. I'm just kidding.
All
Maybe.
the one of you.
But anyway, this is the next part of our ongoing saga. This will be the third episode now that we've done pertaining to a storyline that's going to end up having many more episodes at this rate.
Yes.
Yeah. But we decided, we've tried single story arcs, we've tried single comics, and now we want to do like a long running series to see how
we feel about
how
it.
it feels,
How you guys feel about it.
how you guy feel.
You folk out there.
The one.
Folks.
You singular person.
You folk or folks or
So if you're tired of
folky
Make
folks.
sure you get that L in there.
All our folksers out there.
folk. Why do we
But-
keep using that word?
Why not?
I don't know.
It's good enough for me, then
good.
it's good enough for us.
It's good enough for songs.
Folk song. I do own a
I was-
banjo. That's why we do
There
it.
we go.
I was going to say there's folk music, there's folklore, there's folks.
Yep.
So, but
Yes.
but before that, our traditional.
It really is a shame we just lost our one listener.
Oh no! Hopefully they decide to come back and see if it goes anywhere.
Hopefully.
I know those moments that you think, do we cut this? Does this just end up on the cutting room floor? And then you think, nah, I'm going to leave it in and hope that somebody doesn't turn it off in the first 2 minutes. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Nothing will have the amount of edited, cut content as the Fabled issue.
Right.
Ever. Nothing will ever touch that.
Until somebody overdoes it on the alcohol and it gets a little too rowdy.
Well, we all have full stomachs right now, so the alcohol's probably gonna. And besides, I
Be
have
contained.
my water now.
Yeah, this is just going to slowly taper off as we fall
We're
asleep.
gonna all be sleeping by the end. We're gonna need you to email us, make sure we're still alive.
Yeah.
I suppose we talk about our buffoonery.
Yeah,
Pat, what buffoonery do you have this week?
So I got the new Zelda game.
Tears of the Breath Wild.
Tears of the Kingdom.
Kingdom of the Breathless Wilds.
Right. Kingdom of the Breathless Wilds. So far, it's great. Like, Nintendo knocked it out of the park.
I've heard that it makes Breath of the Kingdom feel like a tech demo.
Breath of the Wild, yes.
No, did I say Kingdom?
You
I
did.
did,
Yeah.
didn't I? Breath of the Wild feel like a tech demo.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
it is. Yeah, it's
How is it
great.
different? Because I've played Breath of the Wild.
You have similar yet different powers.
Okay.
I believe they're
You
more
can strap
expansive.
rockets onto
Yeah, you can
yourself.
build constructs and just go
Oh, that's
crazy. Yeah. I believe some of the shrines or whatever are longer, more complex.
Oh. So
But
they're
I've
not just-
heard... Go ahead.
they're
sorry.
not just
Some of them are very
battles. Because I
No.
know, like, some of the in the first Breath of the Wild, some of the temples you just go into, you find this room, and you just
You fight
this
somebody, and yeah, they're
robot
still in
and-
there.
Depending on how hard they want to make the robot, they just give it more arms, and so it has more weapons. And
So level 1, 1 arm. Level
little,
2,
yeah,
2 arms.
yeah.
Level 3.
Basically, that's how they decided to scale that. How many weapons do we going to give this thing?
But no, yeah, they did a great job, at least so far. It's great. I can't wait to get back into it.
The person I share my office with watches it like all day long. Like little off to the side while they're working. Just listens all day.
Maybe I'll just block that site.
I was just gonna say, if the head of IT wants to really mess with this individual,
I just find it interesting because this person has said they're planning on picking the game up, and I was like, then why are you watching the whole thing? Like, I don't get that. That takes.
Though. He's not ruined by watching it.
For me, if I seeing some things won't dissuade me, but if I see too much of a game that's like that, I lose interest in playing it myself. I do.
It's the way because you love Mass Effect, but you watch your wife play the third one, and it kind of ruined it.
That's why I never played Horizon. My wife started playing it so much, and I would see it and be like, feels like I've already played it then. I don't know.
For me, it depends on the game. If it's like a single player story game, there's no way I'm going to watch it.
No.
Because I don't want anything ruined. But if it's like, I don't know. What's the most toxic game thing I can think of? League of Legends. If it's League of Legends, it doesn't matter. You can just watch those matches.
That's different. It's matches. Like, I used to watch Paladins a lot when I played a lot of Paladins.
Okay. Tangent on League of Legends.
Oh,
if you actually get into like the technical side, it's actually like chess, how they think about it.
Sure.
And to me, that's cool. But then you actually get into the community, and it's so toxic. You're like, I don't want anything to do with this because you people kind of suck.
Right.
Which is why you play that Atlantis Rising 2 or whatever it's called.
I've never heard of it.
It's a board game that's a MOBA.
There's a MOBA board game?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, so is Rum and Bones, technically. You have champions, you kill creeps.
Talking about Rum and Bones, are we ever going to finish that?
Dude, stop it.
Okay.
We're not going to finish that. We're not going to finish Star Wars Imperial Assault.
Come on, we're the last.
We're literally one more.
One mission.
One mission.
More play session.
My wife does not finish campaigns, okay? If she plays something...
You know what? We're just going to like...
AI her character.
Yeah, the three of us are going to get together
and just
before
finish
one of these podcasts and just play that last mission. And if we have to AI her and our other comrade, then so be it.
Oh, by the way, those are the other ones I have.
Yeah, I saw them earlier.
Yeah, we're talking about
amiibos.
There we go.
He's got Zelda Breath of the Wild amiibos.
Right.
I like the troll goblin looking thing.
The
Moblin. Moblin? Is that what they're called? That's what my daughter called them when she was like 5 and used to play, or whenever that game.
It's like a bokoblin or something. I don't remember.
I think there's different species. Depending on like what color they were.
Well, that one's a ruddy, brownish orange.
Yeah, I think they were like the bokoblins.
Yeah,
something like that.
Boca Bros.
Maybe you should just email us and tell us if you know.
Got some email going on today. It's because we finally have decided on it, but you will have known about it for 8 episodes. Actually, while this is technically issue 8, Knightquest is issue 8. We do have 9 issues because we have an issue 0.
Right.
We counted properly. In the computer science world, you always have to start with 0. Also, we're not going to get into that.
No. Will, do you have any random stuff? Pat, was that all you wanted to say about Zelda for now?
Yeah, it's great.
Cool. You did mention an episode in issue 0 that Zelda is one of your favorite heroes of all time.
Yeah, he's great.
Link. Link's great.
Yeah, Link's great.
It just sounded funny because it's like Zelda's.
I wasn't really paying attention.
Yeah, I know you weren't, but
I was looking for something.
You do point out that Legend of Zelda, and in that being Link, is one of your favorite heroes. I've heard he has a lot of personality in this game. Like he's very emotive for not speaking.
Right.
So you'll have to let me know if that comes across to you.
Did you ever watch the cartoon?
No.
Not to drag this on.
I think I've seen the cartoon a few times, but
they made him sound like a surfer dude.
Are you serious?
Yeah. He was like, bro.
Bro.
At least at the start of the game, he's got the haircut.
You got any rupees, bro?
Like California surfer dude is how they went with that. Yeah. It's like, that's an interesting direction.
So he's a Ninja Turtle.
Yeah.
He's just dressed as an elf.
Yeah.
Right.
A ninja elf. Anyway, as far as me,
elf.
haven't been really up to much. I got my kayak rack put up.
I was going to ask if you want to take me along sometime this year.
I absolutely will take you.
Awesome.
Don't worry, I'll just stay here and play Zelda.
You do that, Patrick.
Great.
It'll be fun. My dad just got a new truck.
Oh, yeah, because he needed one.
Yeah. Both of his other ones fell apart.
They were made of Lego.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Surprised they fell apart. Do you use super glue?
Nope, that's why. Yep.
Rust, mostly, and wishful thinking.
Zip ties and rust.
Yeah. How they do out in the old countryside.
Use some baling wire.
Ooh, there you go.
There you go.
Spoken like someone who actually grew up on a farm.
Yeah. But,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, we'll take you out. We have.
I don't believe you. That's right. How do you like it?
Had to get it in this episode, but yeah, we issue. No, whatever.
Bless you.
We've got an extra one, so we can take you out and
Cool.
we'll have some fun.
Yeah, I don't really swim.
I do love kayaking.
We have life jazzing.
Jazzics. you gotta be really.
We got them there life jackets.
Life jazzercise.
Life jazzers. That's not gonna save you from drowning at all. And swim and stroke. That's cool. The weather's starting to change. No wonder you're
that's why
gearing up. Probably ready to go fishing.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm gonna
like
see
that.
if he wants to go tomorrow. Actually,
For those of you who haven't picked up on it yet, Will is quite the outdoorsman when he wants to be.
my hobbies are all over the place. I'm a nerd. I read comics, play games, and also do a lot of outdoorsy stuff like camping, fishing, etc.
Hunting.
But then also I'm kind of a
Hiking.
maker because I've got that like a 3D printer. I do CAD
I thought you
stuff.
said baker.
Maker.
I thought you said baker, and I thought you were going to
No,
make
that's
a
my mom.
I was going to say that is your mom, man. She is.
Yeah.
She is Queen Baker.
Yeah. Keep telling her she needs to make her own YouTube videos.
My wife would
hilarious.
be Princess Baker then, because if your mom would be Queen,
Oh, yeah.
my wife
Yeah.
would. She's hot on the heels, but they need to get together and bake sometime. They would love it.
I'm still
Keep
waiting
talking
to
about having.
try some of this
Baking?
baking.
We'll invite you over. They keep talking about having you guys come back for.
Oh. And then after
Some
they talk about it, they're
barbecue
like,
and
maybe not. That was fun.
No,
that was a fun day.
They loved having you guys over. They were very surprised about how fearless your son is. Because they have this, around the corner from their pantry, it's like the sudden stairway to their basement. Mm-hmm. And I can't remember if it was my mom or Jessica that was kind of keeping an eye on him, or my sister. It's like, yeah, he had no fear just going around that corner and trying to go down. And they had to kind of pull him back, like, no, you probably shouldn't go down there. You come back with the rest of the family. We've got some other stuff up here you should be interested in.
Yeah. He's got a lot of adventure in him. Just like Link.
Just like Link.
He saw a stairway going down. He's like, what's down here? But yeah,
Pretty much.
no.
So, that's cool.
Yeah.
I hope you get it. You'll have to let me know if you go tomorrow. I'd like to hear about it.
Oh, yeah.
I
What
don't
about you,
wanna go
Chris?
do tomorrow.
You're going to play Zelda since you haven't gotten too much.
Yeah, probably. I might do that tonight after you guys take off.
Well, we're just going to sit and watch you then.
That's fine.
I'm just
Absolutely.
kidding. Pat's like,
We
I
wanna
have
see
had
it.
my fill of human interaction today. You guys are draining. Really, it's just me. Will's pretty chill.
Nobody even knows I'm here.
I wouldn't say that. Hold on. I don't believe you.
Thank you.
Oh, man. So me, last night, so this is kind of fun. This was a fun moment. Last night, my wife was gone, and I was hanging out with the kids, and I was sorting comics, and they were playing on the PlayStation, and we talked about watching some Teen Titans, and but my son ended up going to bed. He was tired, and my daughter, I looked at her, and we were kind of talking, and I convinced her to try watching Man of Steel with me. Because, she's almost 11. She's watched Shazam, and I'm trying to get her into some things that are a little older, tell stories that are a bit more involved. than just kids stuff. And not that I don't have fun watching kids stuff with her. So I start Man of Steel, and she's like, sets a timer. She's like, if I don't like this, I don't want to keep watching it.
No.
So she sets like a 4-minute timer.
Wow, that is. She must be immediately impressed, or she is not continuing.
So,
because the opening credits are at least 2 minutes.
I know with DC and Marvel, it's like their credits are almost half that time. So she's watching it, and her timer goes off, and I go, "We're not stopping it yet." And we let it go for a bit, and then she eventually stops resetting the timer, and she watches for a while, and then she gets to a point where she's like, maybe maybe we can watch something else. We can finish this another time. And I was like, oh, just watch a little more. And she does. And eventually, man, she was in it. Like she was in it. My wife got home and was like, Cora, come here. And she's like, this is the best part. and I don't remember which part it was off the top of my head, but it was just it was a good part. But she ended up staying up with me. We watched the whole movie. And we got to the end. She's like, I could watch that like 100 times. I liked that movie. We should watch the Batman v Superman next. And I said, well, you might find that one kind of boring compared to Man of Steel. And she goes, well, that's okay. I thought this movie was boring, and I liked it.
That's adorable.
So now she's like, we were already talking, and she's down for watching like Wonder Woman. She wants to watch Justice League now, and I'm like, well, Justice League's actually rated R because some of the violence is a little violent, and they do drop an F word or two in it.
Do they?
In the Snyder Cut, they do.
Oh, in the Snyder Cut, yeah.
I'm not going to have her watch the Whedon one. Listen, I understand.
Yeah, there's only one Justice League to watch. Yeah.
Here's the thing. The Whedon one would definitely skew more towards being appropriate for her age. It would.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. But I don't want her to watch that and then be like, never mind, I don't want to deal with any of these people anymore. DC sucks. I'd rather be like, okay, listen, this is going to be mature at times. It's not always as bubbly as what you're used to. Maybe find out where that F word is. Maybe mute it. She knows the word. She knows she's not supposed to say it. Her little brother would say it all the time when he was saying bark.
Right.
That's how he would bark. He would say that word. And then we'd look at each other like, well, we can't have him do that in public. But because the first time he did it, I look at my wife and I'm like, what did he just say? And she goes, he's barking. And I was like, he's saying a different word for bark, right? The look funny on my daughter's face the first time he did that was hilarious because she knows there are words that we don't use. Uh-huh. So for her to hear her brother go, oh, 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 in a row, her eyes were so wide. And we had to be like, he's not saying what you think he's saying. So
it's funny because my niece would do the same thing with the word blanket, but instead of the F word, it was the B word.
What? For real?
Yeah, so she, you could edit this out if you don't want in there. But she's like, can I have a beach?
Well, that's a beach. Like with sand.
I mean, she would actually, it sounded like she said bitch, okay? I'm just going to come out and say it the first time, actual swearing. But it straight up sounded like she said the word bitch. And it's like, what does she want? And I was like, it means blanket. She's trying to say the word blanket, but it comes out sounding like bitch, okay?
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she was, like 1.5, maybe 2 max. And coming out of, that youthful of a mouth. It's actually really funny.
Right.
Well, yeah. Okay, I am going to edit this out. But listening to Theo go, I kind of want to leave that in.
Oh, my land.
But to hear him do that is really funny. But so it became funny enough that when people would come over, sometimes Cora would be sitting there and we'd be, like we'd have a friend of the family or somebody over, and Cora would be like, hey, Theo, can you bark like a dog? And I'd look at her and be like, Don't you do that.
Good girl. Stirring the chaos.
That's a proper sister for you.
That is.
Oh, yeah.
That is a proper sister.
She's like, oh my gosh, he's doing something. Is that supposed to? Hey, Grandma, you want to hear Theo bark?
I'm pretty sure she did that. I'm pretty sure that's how Grandma heard it the first time. Little rascals.
Hilarious.
Tell you what. Punks. But no, it's fun because since she's, like I said before, started watching Teen Titans together, and I don't know, when she was young, she really wasn't interested in superheroes at all. She's still young. I mean, she's going to be 11, right? But
Which is crazy.
It is crazy. But it's just interesting because it's like she's seeing the value of some of that stuff now. Like, sees why, I like it or whatever.
That's great.
So that's just fun stuff.
Mm-hmm. Raising a nerd.
The proper
Good.
way.
Wow.
Good and proper.
Maybe I'm just raising a human being.
No. No.
We have to establish that I'm the one that's averse to using the N-word. Sorry.
Which N-word?
That's why it's so funny. Because the minute that you compare those two, you're like, I'm pretty sure that's not equal, bro.
Which is funny because that's a Burt Kreischer bit that he does.
I don't know who that is.
He's a comedian. And so
that much I picked up from you using the word bit.
Yeah, but his daughter kept coming to him one time saying like, oh, my sister's using the N-word. And he goes up to her like, you can't say that word like at all.
Ever.
She's like, I can because my teacher said you can say it if you are one. And he's like, what do you think the N-word is? And she's like, Dad, I'm a nerd, he's a nerd, and she's a nerd. And he's like laughing, like, oh, you think the N-word is nerd? Yeah, okay, you can say that as much as you want. Until later on, his older daughter comes back and says, she's saying the C word now. And so he goes up to her and like these other people, his other parents were around. They're like, oh my gosh. He's like, hang on, we've been through this before. He's like, what do you think the C word is? And you're probably going to have to cut this back. He's
no, do not say that on this podcast.
It's what you think it is. He's like, nope, yep, you nailed that C word.
Wow. I should probably cut that whole segment out of this pod. I don't know. But no, she likes all the proper things. I mean, she already likes Harry Potter as much as she does. There's no turning back. But
shovel.
Man, that was quick.
You know what else there's no turning back from?
Batman. And justice.
I was really going to hope somebody was going to... What's it called? The program? Not the program. The system. The system.
Oh,
the system. There's no turning back from the system. Just like Azrael in what we read.
Yes, he's trying to transition all this random talk into the... But yes, we did read... What, the first...
Knightquest. Part 2 of Nightfall, basically.
Some issues.
Yeah, the first 10, technically... So if you went out and you bought the trade collection, then the Knightquest compendium or omnibus or collection or whatever, you probably didn't have all of the issues because Pat owns that and he had to read at least 4 issues that were not in it that we read.
Yes.
Now, you don't need those
to
technically get the story, but it does add. I'm actually surprised that it didn't have the Justice League thing.
Yeah, I
understand. That follows Bruce.
I understand the Robin one. Maybe?
To an extent, Robin 1 should be in there because it comes direct. Okay, wait. We need
structure.
I hear
he's all about structure.
I hear the winds of change. Oh man, it's Synopsis Will coming in.
Why is it so windy in this room all of a sudden?
We're suddenly changing.
Haven't you seen how Superman flies in Man of Steel? How he generates, like, his stuff starts floating around him. Will just flew in. Synopsis Will.
Synopsis
he knocked
Will.
old Will right off the chair into the multiverse.
This is Synopsis Will, not
Synapsis Will. That's his
Entirely
multiversal identity.
Yes. I either send and transmit information or I summarize an event for you. Not even close to the same thing.
Technically, when you're summarizing the information that you're sending to the listeners, so you're the synopsis Will.
Yes, that is me, my identity.
So before Will reads the synopsis on this one, I think we got some emails, right?
Do we? We have an email today?
I believe so.
Oh, from
Joy,
from our second best emailer.
Second best emailer. That's right.
But still original emailer.
Right.
So that's right.
Yep.
Christoph
number 1
has thrown the gauntlet, it appears.
I guess his name is now Christoph number 1. That's not going to go to his head.
Wow. Not at all knowing him. Not even a little.
A little bit.
Jeez. He'll end up having a superhero name by the end of these things.
Probably.
Oh, that would be... We need to give our emailers their own monikers.
There we go.
That would be fun.
We'll figure it out.
So if you have one, you can try throwing it in your email. We may not like it and not use it. So just because you want your own name a certain way, you may not get it.
Isn't that kind of like picking your own nickname?
Because, I mean, yeah.
Like sometimes it works, but mostly it doesn't.
Yeah, like, you mean like if you get introduced to somebody, like, and they go... Well, my name is, but my friends call you can call me. Yeah, no, I guess that doesn't really work, does it? Yeah. Because really nobody might call them that. They're just trying to get it moving. Right? They're their own hype man. You can't be your own hype man. You need the newspapers to pick up your moniker and throw it on the front page when you're a superhero.
Correct.
The journalists name you.
I believe you.
Yeah.
Right? Unless you're the Flash. And then they call you the Red Streak, and you're like, I don't like that. You got to get that changed.
So then every time,
not a great name.
Every time there's like a news broadcast, then you stop and you go, "I'll be back in a flash," and they start going, "Oh, you just plant that suggestive."
So thankfully, he didn't wear a brown suit.
The brown streak.
Like, oh, there's a brown streak.
It's a good thing he chose red. Oh, jeez. Okay,
Yep.
Let's get this. I'm gonna read the email. Hey guys. This is your first emailer, and thusly, automatically, your biggest fan. Oh, you heard it here first. Self-proclaimed biggest fan. That's kind of like giving your own nickname.
It kind of is.
So, I had the pleasure of reading the entire first book of the Nightfall series, both parts 1 and 2 for your podcast, and had some questions/thoughts. The art style is very good. It stays realistic, but does a lot with color to set the tone and mood. That is good. The story follows along pretty well, and even though I found the Batman fights several villains in a row kind of repetitive, it did a good job setting up his exhaustion and downfall. The lettering was peculiar, and I had some issues having to reread some text boxes because it went weird sometimes. Also not used to figuring out when something is spoken, something is spoken text, thoughts, narration, or flavor text. Is there a universal comic book code on what colors use for what kind of text you use? So I will answer this.
Please.
Typically, if it's in a direct speech bubble, so like your stereotypical like little hooked bubble, that is spoken. If it's got the dots and little cloud bubble look kind of thing, or is italicized, it's generally internal. And if it's in the boxes, then it is it's either internal narration or a third party narration. Also, the colors sometimes signify the character, so they will assign a color to specific characters to kind of keep them in line. If more than one character has perhaps a text box or something like that, sometimes it will be colored a certain way. Modern comics oftentimes put the symbol of the character, if it's the hero, kind of in the bottom corner. So that is your code, Christoph. To watch for. The story was depressing. I am only familiar with the movie and animated series Batman. Hey, nice. I love the animated series. Yeah, you are. But I found this Batman to be rude, insensitive, and downright mean to Robin. He was, too.
Oh, he was.
As we talk about.
Yeah.
I definitely am missing out on a lot of previous story and subtext, but there was almost no Detective Batman and way too much brooding and depression going on for me to really relate to the Batman I know.
Boy, howdy.
Yeah.
That's all
and
I'm saying
sometimes
about that.
Batman is rude. That is a characteristic trait that when he gets super focused, he tends to push people away and degrade people around him. And that's one of the reasons that Robin, Dick Grayson, originally left and became Nightwing. My biggest issue was the abrupt and immediate turning of Azrael into evil Batman as soon as he put on the cape. He was a good character before that, supportive and helpful of Robin, but the instant he put them on the mantle of the Bat, he becomes just as rude and dismissive of Robin as Bruce Wayne. Is there a dismiss Robin function built into on the utility belt?
No, I think it's in the cowl.
That's what it is. It's psychological. It's psycho programming.
Psycho programming.
My favorite character was Robin by far. He was the only one with a measure of common sense and a feeling of justice. He got done dirty by Batman, both of them. That is so true, and we love Robin too. This series sums up why I've always been comic curious, but too anxious to take the plunge and read them full on. I feel like I'm missing out on so many previous storylines. Jason Todd, who is Nightwing? And, I used to feel the same way. And I went to, back years and years ago now, I went to Chimps Comics in Warsaw, and I went in and I said, I really find, I talked to the store owner, Nick, and I said, man, I love comics, but I find it so hard to figure out what to read because they seem so inaccessible. And he said, well, that really just depends on if you have somebody to show you good places to jump in. And he showed me some stories to read and some places to start. And that is actually why I started collecting comics as an adult was that exact conversation. So I feel your pain. I've been there. And there are a lot of good spots that you can enter in on, but we'll talk about that maybe another time. I find it so hard to commit to any comic book story because I simply don't know where to start without feeling like I'm missing out on things. And most really great established comics have so many issues out that it is nigh impossible to read all without quitting my day job. What are your thoughts on this? Well, I kind of jumped ahead on that, didn't I?
A little bit.
But then again, the comic companies have also been doing a lot of reboots. They do like number ones again and like Rebirth number one. But some of those number ones aren't always super friendly. But, to finish this thought on this, if you ever want to know more about a specific hero, you can email us. Christoph, that includes you. We know you will anyway. But if you have questions or you want to know good reading points, like we said, Heather did email us about Shazam, and we responded and sent some things for her to check out to find out more about that character. So if you feel like Christoph, if you're hearing this and go, man, that's how I feel about comics, go ahead and email us, and we'll try to send you some stuff that maybe feels a little more accessible or answers some of those story questions that you have. We could do that. We could.
Yeah.
We do have the power.
I was saying, keep up the great job, guys. You are covering a lot of issues. And remember, as Abraham Lincoln said in the Gettysburg Address, first emailer is always the best emailer. Yours truly, Christoph.
Man.
Wow.
I must have learned the edited version of the Gettysburg Address in school.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Probably. Most of them are...
redacted?
I was going to say abridged. Most of it's abridged. So
they can't let people know that they had email back in the Civil War.
Right. It's that top secret stuff. They gotta
it was
black
called
those lines out.
Email was just equine mail because they wrote it on horseback. They brought it.
And then later on, they started foxing things.
Oh. Wow. Oh, but yeah, thank you for your email. I'm glad you mostly enjoyed Nightfall, it sounds like. It sounds like you wanted to know a little bit more of backstory that led into it. So did we, for the most part. We had those questions of why was Batman tired and what had been going on. So you weren't alone.
I do feel like I knew more about some of the villains of Batman just because of the movies and stuff.
Yeah, the villains tend to come across pretty similarly in anything.
Right, but there were also a lot of them, and I'm like, I have no idea who this is.
Yeah. Yeah, but...
Like, how could the Trigger twins not make it in, too?
Bro, we haven't read that yet.
Oh, did we not? Well, just so you know.
He must have read ahead.
He must be in the future.
Or something.
Is this a guest from the future, Will? Oh, well, you guys heard it here first. There's some people coming up that might be talked about later.
I think it's the next one coming out.
It's either the next.
I think it's the end
or
of
the one after
next
that.
one that we read. Yeah.
So
yeah.
But anyway,
I
guess enough with that. That email, that was a long one.
Yeah.
But informative. And again, if anybody wants to know more or to know what to read for who Jason Todd is, those kinds of questions, email us. I will be happy. We will be happy to, because I know I'll probably be the one that looks it up and links it in.
I'm going to have to email us so I can get the Jason Todd information.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be a story we do read on here eventually, too. The reason that Jason Todd weighs so heavy on Batman. But
dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. So we ready for a synopsis?
Yep, it's time to synapse. The synopsis. With Bruce Wayne and Santa Prisca on the hunt for the kidnappers that took Dr. Kinsolving and Jack Drake.
Wow. You really went in.
Was his name Jack? Sorry.
Sure.
I think his name was Jack, right?
Yeah, sure.
You wrote this. It's not John.
I'm
pretty sure it's Jack.
Okay. I'm just going to start over. I'm pretty sure it's Jack, too.
I think you should just continue.
We could look it up.
Past
just
Will
run
is
it.
just going to... I'm just going to commit to his commitment. Okay. Yes, with Bruce Wayne and Santa Prisca on the hunt for the kidnappers that took Dr. Kinsolving and Jack Drake, Gotham is left with a very different kind of angel looking over it. Ooh. With Bane defeated, the crime organizations are back on the move. However, the tactics used by Jean-Paul Valley has driven a wedge between him and Robin, causing Robin to make his own way in fighting crime in Gotham. Meanwhile, Jean-Paul is struggling between the programming his father instilled in him and the duty that was entrusted to him by Bruce Wayne. Will he ever find out who he truly is, or will he give in to the system that threatens to overtake him?
Ooh, that was a good synopsis.
That was excellent.
Thank you. I literally wrote that and then walked outside and got into the car and drove us here.
It's proper guys with issues standard.
Right.
Yes.
You usually save something for the day of.
Of course, always.
You didn't this time, did you? Did you save anything for today?
I mean, I got food for us.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Patrick.
You're welcome.
Patrick did get
But that's
good food.
But like that was a bonus.
Other than that,
for
no,
today.
I did not.
Wow. You saved our discussion for today.
Yes. Yeah, I couldn't do this one.
Stop it.
I love those sound effect
You're not
buttons.
allowed to have the soundboard.
I just wish it was closer so
I
someone
wish.
could constantly be pushing buttons.
That's why it's not closer.
They've learned since the fabled episode
Oh,
not
yeah.
to leave it within.
Because that has all kinds of canned sound in it. To be fair, it would be fun to do that, but we'd have to come up with good canned sound effects. If you have any suggestions for us, email us.
Yeah, email us.
It's fresh on our minds, people.
Because
each of us
your
is now.
opinions and suggestions are worth a Pirate Lord's butt shovel.
Yes.
I'm glad you didn't take a drink of that first.
Oh, man. You notice I was thinking about it. I'm like, I don't know where he's going with this.
But anyway, Knightquest. This was part 1. So Knightquest has like what, 30-ish issues? 30-ish issues?
Well, for the main segment is 30. If you want to include the Justice League and
it's a little more.
Robin, I think it was 37.
Okay, so
Seems right.
So, faithful listeners and folks, I had to throw it on.
Listener.
No.
Right, the one.
Dude, okay, anyway. So, I just, never mind. I can't refocus. Anyway,
it's really Will
so
with a,
this is...
It's Will with a fake mustache on.
Will is throwing me off because his mic shadow is like an upside down cross. It looks like he's wearing a weird necklace.
Oh,
do you see it?
Yeah, I do. I mean, we could fix that.
I know that you were really into that whole deal with the devil thing from a couple episodes ago, but you're making me uncomfortable. Oh, it's gone. Thanks.
Yeah, no
Thanks,
problem.
Pat. Now we're in the dark. Thankfully, there's
I think
a
it's because the window was open, or was it that way before?
It was not.
No,
that
it
way
was
before.
it was the light. It's the way, whatever the way it's.
Wow.
It was just
It just
anyway.
goes to show
Hold
you.
on. I gotta take a picture, Will, so you can see it.
It's a picture will.
Picture will.
Picture will.
Doesn't go as well as Pat.
Picture Pat. Anything Pat. Will's posing.
Why is it so blurry?
Oh, it's because
So anyway,
I'm not gonna
faithful
say.
listener,
thank you.
You're welcome. We will be continuing Knightquest for at least
Okay, better.
2 more episodes?
2 to 3 more episodes,
Oh,
depending
yeah,
on what all
yeah.
falls in. So just be now, and that we'll follow our similar pattern going forward, where we're still going to be doing it every other week. We will.
That's much better.
Be with Knightquest for a while.
Sent from hell itself.
Wow. And then after Knightquest, we'll get
We
to
should post that
Knight's
to
End.
Discord.
Yes.
Will's taken the Constantine episode way too far.
And I did love Constantine.
Yeah, but so yes, this is the beginning of Knightquest, and we will have several episodes of this going forward in between our other, random inserts. They're not random. We have a slight plan.
We just won't tell anybody, so it seems random.
It's gonna seem random. So
I'm sure they'll see a
first off,
theme.
the Robin thing, because we started talking about
Right,
it.
the Robin
We did
thing.
start talking
Here's the
about
thing.
it.
I understand there's only 3 issues of Robin that tie into this, and one of them is in the DC app lineup. It's issue 9. I understand why issue 1 is suggested. Actually, some online forums, when I was researching this prior to us starting it, when I first started posting like all the issue numbers, suggested that you actually read 1 through 9 because you see all of what Robin does during this, kind of as a parallel story.
Okay.
But I understand why issue 1 of Robin is suggested, because it literally comes directly out of the previous Batman issue. Like the end of that issue goes straight into Robin.
Yeah.
And then you follow Robin. And I understand why 2 is then suggested, because it ends the story arc that begins. He takes down the bad guys that they establish, basically.
Basically.
So I get why it's both issues. Really, the first issue's the one that ties in, albeit loosely. It just shows him leaving, basically. Mm-hmm. But I like that you do get to see what Tim is dealing with that way. Sure. Like, I would read that whole Robin series.
I would too.
Tim's a great character. I've read chunks of it from other things. It ties in with other things I've read. But as a character, Tim is interesting enough that I didn't mind adding that into the reading. I didn't feel like it took away from it. I think it helps round out the picture of what's going on.
Yeah.
Right, but I think it's the weakest part of the whole reading.
Well, it's not really. It's because it doesn't feel like it's a direct tie-in.
No, I think it feels like it.
You think so?
Because of how it started and what he's dealing with, it's
going to a school dance.
Yeah, it is more juvenile and harder to relate to.
I think that the audience is.
I feel like it's
Excuse me.
Almost unnecessary information.
I don't think it's meant to be necessary.
That's why I'm saying
I
it's
think
the weakest part.
I mean, it's their way of spinning off that series went on for like 190 something issues.
Sure.
So, I mean,
I'm kind of reserving until the end, because if Robin comes back, you'd probably be thinking, oh, like Robin's just been gone this whole time. What has he been up to? What has he been doing? But it kind of fills in.
I think that's why it's there. Because
if
go ahead.
I would almost want to read all 9.
Well, I'm fine with that. It's just going to add more to our reading
episodes.
list.
Why did I say episodes?
Because in one of our earlier issues of this podcast, which are technically episodes that we call issues, I call some comics episodes and nobody called me out. And I was listening to it and I was like, oh, it's because in my head, I think of a comic issue a lot like an episode of a show.
I mean, it is.
They're formulated kind of like single episodes of television. Mm-hmm. You get like a story that's just enough or continues from the last time or feeds into the next one. And sometimes you have big ongoing ones like this, and other times you have ones that stand by themselves. It's a lot like watching a TV show, so it's easy to call them episodes. It's like Will said, TV's just the audio book of comics.
Right.
Yes.
Put it on a shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
I believe you.
Pat's really getting into it.
I was the one that came up with that, so of course I believe you.
I thought Will said that.
Put it on a shirt.
That's going to be the next one. It's just a shirt that says put it on a shirt.
That's pretty meta, really, if you think about it. Because often in these different...
I'd buy a shirt like that.
Different
that
forms
does not
of media.
surprise me.
You know, podcasts, YouTube videos, everyone's like, oh, that should be a shirt. That should be a shirt. What if you made a shirt that said, oh, that should be a shirt?
It's like it'd be like on the same line of it being like, this is that shirt. But anyway, no, I understand what you're saying about it feeling like the weakest reading point.
Yes.
Because it felt less, really, it does feel less involved than the rest of the story.
Right. I didn't think it was bad. I just want to put that out
I would
there.
hope not, since Tim Drake was your favorite character from the previous volume.
Right. I enjoyed it, but I thought it was the weakest of the entire series of issues we read.
I kind of agree, but I took it as just, this is just context for something later.
Sure.
You know, because if he suddenly shows up with the car, you'd be like, where did he get the car?
Right. I understand what you're saying.
My throat is dry.
I feel like my point still stands, though.
Oh, it does.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can make whatever point you want. We don't have to listen to you anyway.
Pointy Pat.
Pointy Pat.
All right.
But no, I thought so on the whole, what'd you guys think of this portion that we read?
I thought it was interesting that Batman was using kilometers instead of miles.
I just think it's funny
Was he?
that you're like,
Yeah, he was.
I mean, it's been a long time since I read that Justice League issue. Self-correction there. Delete that out. It's been a long time since I read the Justice League issue.
I'm leaving both of those in.
Please do.
You know what? I was actually surprised though that's not part of the collected edition because it shows you what Bruce Wayne is doing while he's gone.
Right, looking for his father.
Yeah,
Robin's father.
Like it just feels like it really kind of matters. I guess in a way.
In a way, it doesn't.
It doesn't though, because if you're really talking about what Knightquest is, it's about Azrael's time as Batman.
Right.
So technically the Robin part, which will come back into play, and Bruce looking for the people who were kidnapped, doesn't matter as much as what's going on in Gotham.
Right.
It's not.
Yeah.
But it is it's a better rounded picture of everybody who's involved, though.
Because it's the same as it gives you the context.
Right. And right now, we sure wouldn't want Tim Drake robbing the spotlight.
If you're just...
I cracked myself up.
It was a joke. But, in Nightfall, if Bruce Wayne suddenly shows back up with, Tim Drake's dad and the Dr. Consolving...
All in the car.
Yeah. You'd think, where was the rest of that story? Why didn't I get to see that?
Yes,
Sure.
I mean, technically, they did have a phone call.
Oh, yeah, there was with Alfred
Yeah.
and Tim.
Yeah.
Right, but that was
that in Robin?
in Robin. That wasn't in
No.
Was one of
That
them?
was in Robin.
Was that in Raw?
Yeah.
I mean, you would know. You were either staring at a screen or staring at a book. Which one did you see the phone call?
It was Robin.
Okay.
It was he was talking to his girlfriend, and his girlfriend's dad was complaining about him, putting her on hold.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I do remember that now, yeah.
Yeah, and then he was like, I have to go because it was a call from Alfred.
Yep. Yeah, so if you don't have the Robin issue, then you really don't know what's going on with Bruce.
Right, yeah, you have no idea.
Yeah.
But again, the story in the volume collection is more about Azrael, is more about Batman.
The system.
Jean-Paul.
Well, honestly, I'm just going to come out and say it. Okay, I don't like him as a character. He's just... I get it, he's crazy.
Can't carry it on his own.
But it's just, he's not as interesting. He's kind of whiny. And I think part of it is like, he's frequently by himself because the reason you have to read part of Robin is because he kicked Robin out of the team because he thinks the kid is just holding him back. I'm much better alone.
Kids get in the way.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not wrong.
And so he put him, he literally built a brick wall.
I oftentimes consider my evenings of vigilantism activities that my children should not engage in.
There you go.
Yeah. 11-year-olds just can't hack it out in the vigilante world.
Unless you watch Kick-Ass.
Right.
Yeah.
Then you see Hit Girl and you think, that is a scary child.
Right.
Right. But yeah, literally built brick walls to keep Robin out.
Which really helped, by the way.
Yeah.
Well,
But that was kind of cool how you got context of how Tim Drake got that position because he found a way into the Batcave.
dude, Tim is the rightful heir to the cowl. If you go on skill sets for
set,
like
mentality,
mental skill set, he is Batman.
Yeah.
But
he was just too
he's
young.
the next Batman.
If he was older when,
Sorry, I'm
Bruce-
referring to a thing that comes later too.
Yeah.
It's a double thing.
If he
Double,
was
double.
A double
Toil
thing in
and
my
trouble?
brain.
double entendre, whatever that means.
Doesn't it say bubble or
Double trouble,
It's not
boil and
double.
bubble.
It's not
double
trouble. It's not.
It's not double bubble.
I don't know what it is.
double. Yeah,
It's not double boil toil and trouble. Double toil and trouble. Why are we like this?
It's the Halloween episode.
I hope not. I hope we start releasing these before Halloween, boys. I'm just gonna say.
Well, if this is the 9th episode, though, technically that's like
From where
solid 2 months. So we're gonna be getting close if we don't get some out soon.
what were we talking about again?
You were talking about Robin being able to break into the cave.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you hadn't read beforehand how Tim Drake became Robin, he kind of did provide you with a bit of context in that scene, in those few panels of he reminisces about, this is how I originally got the mask,
Yeah, that's a story that's pretty good because it's after Jason died and he figures out that Bruce is Batman and he like sneaks in and
then we're talking about how
it's like
Tim,
legit.
how Tim Drake is the true successor. If he had been older when Bruce had his back broken by Bane, he would have just passed the cowl on to him for the duration in which he needed to be healed. And Jean-Paul would have never have gotten it, in my opinion. Because there is that scene in Robin, and I think it was in Robin, or maybe it was the first issue of Batman, in which they fight. And
The fight's in the Batman stuff.
Is it in the Batman stuff? Despite being much younger, he still holds his own against Jean-Paul that's basically like half foot in the system and fully armored up in his new super Batman suit that he makes.
Mecha Bat.
Yeah.
Why are you looking at me?
We've been saying stuff.
Well, I was just looking at you. It felt like the right thing to do.
That's fun.
Yes.
So, in a much later comic story arc in Batman, there's a thing called Battle for the Cowl, and it's when Batman died. I think we've talked about it once before, but Nightwing becomes the new Batman ultimately in the story. Oh. Spoilers, I know. It's not a new story. And that's when Damian becomes Robin with Dick, and Tim Drake actually goes to find out what really happened to Batman because he doesn't think that he's dead and gone. And he becomes Red Robin, which is actually the shirt that I'm wearing today. But there is a story in the Red Robin comics where stop that. The amount of times I've had to hear my wife say that when I said Red Robin in the house. No, but there's a part that shows how Tim, like Dick is the heir as far as like kind of skill level and kind of just, I don't know, kind of filling out the suit. Like there's something about the legacy that Dick carries well. Mm-hmm. But
Dick Grayson.
Your face. You want me to add Grayson to the end?
Just to clarify to everybody listening, he's talking about Dick Grayson.
Richard. You want me to say Richard? No,
Grayson. I just keep saying Dick. It's much funnier.
Stop. Your face was killing me. So, I need to reset now because then when I said but, I expected him to say shovel again.
I was going for my drink. I was preoccupied.
I was preoccupied. But can't do. He's broken my mentality. I can't sit across from him. I can't sit across from him anymore.
So I guess it makes me the villain.
You're definitely the villain.
Thank you. I am a Slytherin.
Yes, we know. You're a Slytherin, and you've been tangenting us more often.
Which is funny, because you're known more for being a tangenter.
But I bring it back around. Yeah. That's the skill of it, when you realize how to use it as a weapon. It's the system, man.
So you're the tangenter?
No, I used to just be called Tangent.
Captain Tangent, to be correct.
Well, that only in the Fabled episode. The Fabled
I thought
issue.
You told me that was a nickname given to you at the comic shop.
It was probably from Chimps.
You told me somebody at the comic shop, you're like, oh, you're Captain Tangent.
Yep, it was Robert. Robert used to call me Tangent.
Bob.
No, he does not go by Bob. He goes by Robert.
Sorry, Rob. You're not
Robert.
Bob.
He goes by Robert. Anyway, man, this is so off. But there's a part in Red Robin where they kind of show that Tim, while Dick ends up becoming Batman, Tim.
For the record, everybody, that was Patrick this time, not
Will. I just thought Will going, after you said Dick, I'm going Grayson.
I withheld all comment.
We are not children. I know we've been talking about being adults today. Tim Drake has something said to him while he's Red Robin that implies that he is like the true detective side of the cowl ultimately. That he is Batman's heir as a detective,
which is definitely portrayed in the comics that we have 100%, read.
Yeah.
Dude, Tim and Dick Grayson could not be more different as characters as Robins. Like Dick was always more. I mean, he was just a circus acrobat, right? Like he was a kid that lost his parents, and he was the levity of the dynamic duo. Mm-hmm. Tim is really a protege. Not saying that Dick Grayson isn't, because while he's gone, he ends up as Nightwing in Bloodhaven, and he works on the police force. He's actually a part of the police department, and he does his Nightwing stuff, and he does a lot of great detective work. He's great at it. Yeah. But there's just a level that when Tim would reach an age like his, he would just surpass him, though. Tim's just a different character. That's one thing that's kind of cool is all four of the Robins not counting Stephanie Brown.
Why not?
Because she was only Robin for like days, and she gets like herself killed, kind of. Okay. She comes back, but she starts a big gang war, and she's a butt.
Fair enough.
Well, she's actually in the next issue of Robin, I think. Oh. I think that because didn't it say something like "Beware the spoiler"? Isn't that what it said at the end of the second issue?
I think so.
Yeah, so she gets introduced in the next issue, but Spoiler has a big fan base. She's not a bad character, but I know a lot of people who do not like her, and that's okay. Point is, all 4 of the Robins, super unique, and Tim is definitely the brain. He's the brain Robin.
Nice.
Nick. I said Dick is the funny, nice, like acrobatic one. Jason Todd's the a-hole. And Damien's also an a-hole, but he's Bruce's son that's an a-hole. And he was trained as an assassin. So.
Oh, that was a Robin tangent.
It was, but I was trying to just talk about, I was reinforcing our appreciation of Tim Drake's detective ability.
Because DC won't.
Oh, yeah. We got to love Tim Drake here.
What did you guys think of Azrael as Batman? Because you've heard my opinion of it. He's kind of annoying.
Well, to be honest with you, I kind of really like the exposition tank. I mean, the
isolation tank.
Isolation tank.
Exposition tank. I thought you were just making a joke about how he's always expositioning in it.
They did do something clever when there was a villain introduced called Tallyman, and they kind of had the same exposition going on at the same time. I thought that was a kind of a clever use of that mechanic.
I kind of hated that.
It was hard at the beginning because
they were too similarly voiced, in my opinion. They needed slight more differentiation.
Yeah. It took a second to catch on to because I thought it was still his head talking.
Yeah.
But it was actually somebody else's. So if you had just changed the color of the box, it probably would have helped.
They would have probably done that now. They do a lot more of that in modern comics than they did back then.
Yeah.
But I did like the history and all that stuff.
Learning about Saint Dumas and how his dad actually programmed him and all that stuff.
Right.
That was in the tank that it showed that, right?
Yes.
And how the order had been and
right. All that stuff.
Yeah,
that was 100% an isolation tank.
Exposition tank. It was, but it was interesting backstory.
It was.
And it was for him too, because he did not know it.
Right.
That was something I found interesting about him, is that his journey right now is more about trying to figure out who he really is. Because his whole life to him now has been, like, the reality of his life is that he does not know who he is. Yeah. He has been created to be something, but is that what he wants to be? Really, he doesn't want to be Azrael. Mm-hmm. But as we found in one of the last issues, when he's fighting the other programmed guy, the CIA assassin.
Mekros?
Something like that.
Mekros?
Yeah, right? Something like that.
Macross. No, I'm just... But he... But I think that's the issue that had the part where he has the vision then, right? Where he's told that he's no longer going to be, or was that in the Tallyman?
I think that was at the beginning. That was after Tallyman, but right before he went after...
Yeah, but it was like in that arc. Like, it was like...
Yeah, he was in the Batcave.
Yeah, and it was before he went out and faced out. And St. Dumas appeared to him.
Yeah.
And was like, you're no longer an assassin.
Yeah, you've disgraced the name of the assassin. You got to now be a protector.
I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Like the system doing something else in its brain almost. Or like, is it really the spirit of St. Dumas? Is this something that he channels somehow? Or is he just nuts? You know what I'm saying?
I'm sure we'll find out eventually.
Tune in. No. Did you have a favorite scene?
I think it was the exposition tank.
The exposition tank was your favorite scene
I think
then?
so.
Yeah,
just because of... It kind of really showed...
Translated the isolation tank.
I'm sorry, the ISO tank, which is what they actually called it in the books.
Yeah, which is fun because
I like that they show the ingredients and how he You can see like how he put it together.
You can see it, and then he's fighting just those regular gangsters right at the beginning, and you can see on the building in the background a poster for an isolation tank.
Right.
And then he leaves and goes and he finds that billboard later on that's the same advertisement. Mm-hmm. And so the first time I saw that building, I'm like, oh, he's going to find an isolation tank at some point in time. Maybe that's something Bruce does when he comes back and sees how crazy he is. Because right before that, you get that interaction between him and Robin. I think that was before that, where he kind of just goes nuts with like the system and then realizes he's hurting Robin and comes back to himself right before he accidentally kills him. And Robin kind of gets away. So I'm like, oh, I bet you anything an isolation tank is used later on. And literally like 3 pages later, he's crawling into an isolation tank.
It shows you more of the character.
It does.
That's what I liked about it, I think. Because he just seems like an angry man.
Yeah, like a dude who's just nuts.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
That guy wasn't Batman. I'm Batman. I'm the best Batman.
That's how it reads to me sometimes.
Sudden idea.
I thought you were going to say sudden death.
Sudden death. Sudden idea. What if the vision of Saint Dumas that he got is his true self? Like later on, when he finally gets through, because in that vision, he's just like a helmeted crusader, you know, that helmet comes off and it's him.
Maybe.
It's him talking to himself, being like, hey.
Like a Luke Vader helmet thing?
Yeah. He was telling himself, you're no longer the assassin, you are a protector. This is my current sudden theory.
My sudden fan theory.
Yes.
Well, I guess we'll find out.
Yes.
Yeah, now you don't have to go onto the internet to read about fan theories.
That's why I keep Will around. That's why I don't look any up, because he's usually got some.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Even when we talked about fan theories, he mentioned at least 2 or 3.
That's true. It's very true.
It's not a bad thing.
No.
It's different when it's a friend theory.
A friend theory.
Friend theories weigh in differently, because you always want to hear what your friends have to say.
Right.
You could completely think your friend is wrong, too, and that's cool. Not that it makes you cool.
Wait, so do you completely think he's wrong?
No, I honestly, I don't know.
What I thought was weird is he said it's the saint that never was. So, like, if he's a saint that never was, then he's not actually a saint.
I mean, there's like an order of Saint Dumas.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe he came from nowhere, Oklahoma.
Oh, jeez, not this again.
We're going back to...
Now, don't start that again. I don't believe you.
Well, you know.
Dun-dun.
Stop.
The button is just within reach.
You're a button within reach.
Boy, you
of
know
my
it.
nerves. No. I don't know. I don't know if I had a favorite scene, to be honest. I like the Tim Drake stuff a lot. I just like Tim Drake.
I figured you would.
But I did like the fight between him as Azrael, like Will had mentioned, because I didn't... You're not sure how it's going to go. You know Tim will get away, but you don't really know in the moment how he will fare. And you got to see him really put up a good fight and show why he's Robin.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I enjoyed that. That was a cool scene. I enjoyed, man, some of it I read a while ago. The night before these, I should flip back through and
it's right there.
Yeah, but I don't think no.
We're mid-recording, Pat. You can't.
So here's the thing.
That's true.
I'm just gonna say that it was my favorite, I guess. I feel like there was something else I kind of enjoyed. I enjoyed the parts with Commissioner Gordon being like, I don't really... one of my favorite scenes was that when he was talking and his wife was like, what if it's been a bunch of different guys? That could be like the 5th Batman you've ever been around. Yeah. I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool idea. And what's interesting is that when Dick takes over, Commissioner Gordon notices that something's different with him too. And there's always like, when somebody else is in the cowl, Commissioner Gordon's always like, something's wrong. It's like, I don't know about this. So
he is a detective.
I know, right? And it's like, I enjoyed that. That was one of my... I know it's like literally like 2 panels.
No, it was good.
But that was like one of my favorite little parts. I also like the the parts when you got to see Montoya talking about stuff with Harvey Bullock, and that I liked when Robin got busted by the shotgun sheriff,
right?
The detective dude. And he was like, I'm Robin. And he's like, whatever. So then he leaves him that note when he...
Right.
That was pretty sarcastic.
That was pretty good, which makes me wonder if that character is set up to be an ongoing police officer in his series.
Like he's going to continuously show up.
I'm gonna guess. So my fan theory...
here we go.
Is that may be a character that was established because he's going to be a character in Robin's standalone. I'm not saying he's going to be like Robin's Commissioner Gordon.
I was going to say.
Dude, how crazy is that? You were literally about to say that.
Like, he's going to be the Commissioner Gordon is the Batman, is, Shotgun McFace to Robin.
I don't know. I bet he comes back. I bet he does.
Probably.
That's my theory. Did you have a favorite character in this run?
To be honest, probably still Robin.
Yeah?
Even though that was the
part that you said was like you could have kind of left it and not
right.
About
I still enjoyed the character. I enjoyed all of the stuff, but it was just I don't know. It just felt like a tangent.
Don't you think his series, if you really think about it, like him having to try to have a girlfriend and deal with school and go to this dance and fight criminals, he's
an anime character? No. Yes, we thought that immediately, Chris.
No, I was going to say he's kind of like DC's Peter Parker right now.
That's true.
He's kind of like DC's Spider-Man, like living that teenage life, trying to also be a superhero. And I don't know, I had that vibe to it a little bit, I think. Mm-hmm. Like that young Peter Parker vibe.
Really wish I was driving my car right now.
Dude, when he was just like,
but I'm on the bus.
On the subway or whatever.
Subway.
Yeah, and she's like, it's okay. I ride the subway all the time. And he's just like, I got a sweet ride. Why can't I? Yeah.
If I wasn't so responsible.
Yeah, I'm sure if he pulled up in the Redbird, there'd be a problem.
Yeah.
Someone would start asking some questions.
Be like, my friend loaned this to me. Ever heard of him? His name's Robin. Pretty cool guy.
Especially like I think on the front of it says Redbird or something.
Yeah, it's the name of the car. What about you? You have a favorite?
Favorite character is actually a villain. They introduced
that's right.
the twin. I can't remember what. Oh my gosh! I just said they're my
favorite.
What are they
called? What do they call them?
Twin pistols, twin
shooters or something.
Twin cannons.
I can't remember what it is now, and I'm not going to look it up either.
Why don't you talk about them? Tell us about them.
They're these two random dudes, right? Just so happen to be robbing the same bank. We're not talking about Robin. We're talking about robbing.
Dude, my brain literally...
I literally
heard Robin when you...
Robin, yeah. They were robbing the same bank, and they happen to be identical twins, right? Both these weird, like, cowpoke, redneck sounding son guns. I don't know. They're just so relatable for me.
And they'd never met before.
But they were both orphans. They're both identical. So they're like, hey, we must have been separated at birth. Now we're back together. And then they go to work for this crime lord.
We're going to make some money in this town.
We're going to make some money. But we never got to see so far.
The Trigger Twins.
The Trigger Twins. That's what it was. Yep. But yeah, they're just...
You guys are pistols. You talk straight and shoot straighter.
Yeah.
My Trigger Twins. I did like that. I agree. That was good.
They're just good characters. They're written well. They stay in...
I mean, they're just like outlaw cowboys, but they're in Gotham.
Yeah.
And they get hired by a crime boss.
They're not super intelligent, but they're super self-aware. Like, oh, we are going to Gotham to be outlaws. Like, they know full well what they're gonna... They want to be on that side of the law. They're not trying to make excuses or any other stuff like that. Like, no, we know what we're doing. We're going to be guns for hire. Let's go.
Right.
We're here to make some money.
Here to make some money.
Yeah, they're super fun. Can't wait to see what happens to them. 100% guarantee they're going to be taken out by Batman, Robin, or Azrael at some point in time. But it's going to be fun.
Well, their next job is a train robbery.
Yeah.
Right, which I was like, that's hilarious. They're going to rob a subway train because they're cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
And Batman's Batmobile goes on the subway tracks.
Right. Because, of course, it does.
Well, I mean, it's like launches from there. Looks like.
Yeah, that was kind of a weird segment, but...
So I thought it was
You mean when he sent a train on fire?
Yeah.
Well, it's because he didn't memorize the train schedule. He was like, I should do that. And then he just kept going.
Dude, how funny was the part, though, with Azrael 2, later when he's like, I hate detective work. Smash!
Right?
You're dumb. Just like, you are so dumb.
I really found it interesting that Bruce Wayne, while going to look for Robin's father, wore makeup to make it look like he was wearing somebody else's face.
Yeah, yeah, he disguised himself as someone trying to disguise themselves as Bruce Wayne.
And so the other people were like, you think that guy's really Bruce Wayne? Because I think they're like, did you see that makeup? I think he's faking it. I don't think that's really Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want them to know Bruce Wayne is connected to like the Justice League. That's the whole point.
Right. Yeah.
Like, because he has like Green Arrow and stuff, and he's like trying to make them think that is definitely not Bruce Wayne by being Bruce Wayne with bad makeup.
Yeah, it was great.
That was a good scene. That was fun.
That was fun.
I enjoyed those 2 issues, the Santa Prisca.
Yeah, me too.
I'm kind of surprised there hasn't been more, because afterwards, during that call with Robin and Alfred, you find out that they're after the incident in Santa Prisca. They're actually now in England.
Santa Prisca.
Right.
So,
what happened?
Like, do we have to read more of the Justice League?
I thought that there were more of those books, though. In the thing, I think
there are more Justice League episodes in our future that we will read. And just kind of hope that they go back and cover what happens between the ending of Santa Prisca and where that phone call takes place.
Okay, the scheduler. What's next?
The scheduler.
Is that your superhero name?
The scheduler. Wow, that'd be a terrible superhero name.
Yeah, but your superpower could be awesome.
No, you're early.
Because you could write stuff out when it's going to happen, and then all of a sudden, boom, it happens at that time.
That would be pretty nice.
Am I supposed to say who I liked?
Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, you were talking about the Trigger Twins.
Yes, yes, that's what you're supposed to say.
For me, it's such a default to just be like, I liked Robin.
Hey, if you like Robin, you like.
But here's the thing: I'm just trying to think of other characters. I like some of the characters and interactions in the Justice League Task Force thing, but I kind of like. I'm gonna go ahead and this is a character that I don't think did anything to be. Well, that was the best character in the story. Okay, but I enjoyed the Mekros, maybe. He's a CIA MK Ultra brainwashed dude. I actually liked him. Like, even though all he does is say like a mantra over and over, I was like, oh, this dude should be a good match for Azrael. If anything, I was a little disappointed that he wasn't a bigger problem. But I like that he kept getting away for a while.
Yeah. I kind of anticipated them kind of, instead of him turning him over to the cops, kind of taking him back and interrogating himself. Like, how did you program yourself?
No,
is that something I can use to beat my own programming? You know?
Yeah, I like seeing the guy go after him and then being like, "Oh, I knew he'd send you." And like that whole thing, you know, don't move. I got a special gun that'll shoot your armor. But like, do I think the character was awesome? I don't. But I actually kind of enjoyed that segment and seeing him. Now, the one thing that I think was dumb in that, because we really deep down know that my default was Robin. But
yeah,
right.
And I did like the Trigger Twins too. I was disappointed we didn't get to see the next part with them yet. But when he's like, yeah, he said he wasn't going to pay you. And then he just, he just believed him. I was kind of like, That seemed too easy. Like that.
Yeah.
That did not seem. It was probably like, oh, we need a side villain for like 2 issues. We need a filler. We need some filler.
Yeah.
And so they were like, yeah. By the way, did you notice he had like roller skates on in the one panel?
I did not see the roller skates. No. That is funny.
Did you not?
I did not see that, no.
Okay, when he goes into the convenience store. Oh, I literally opened to the exact page, which is pretty impressive considering it's page 148. But no, he's got like rocket skates on when he's running away, and I was like, I'm pretty sure he never had Heelys on.
That's hilarious.
That is fun. I mean, we got some honorable mentions of like good characters because in the beginning Justice League issues, Dr. Kinsolving, I think is how you say her name, was rescued and then decided she saw because
that part was cool.
Yeah, what was it, like Green Arrow or someone had actually gotten to her, but Robin's dad was still in the hands of the kidnappers because he's paralyzed and they just had him. He can't really run away anymore.
And Patrick's words, a stand-up kind of guy.
Stand-up kind of guy.
He's a stand-up guy. And she decides to get back on the plane with the kidnappers because he's, in medical crisis. And she knows if she goes with him, he has a much better chance at surviving.
Right.
Yeah. No, she's a good noble character.
Yeah, she left safety for somebody else. So I'm like, I think that deserves some honorable mentions.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Alfred, honorable mention.
Always.
Always
Alfred. Really.
Doesn't matter what
true
version.
Superpower. Alfred.
Right.
Do you have a least favorite scene?
Probably the whole stupid bully scene with Robin. At the dance.
At the dance?
With the jock.
Dude.
That was just so dumb.
It was dumb.
Thank you.
I mean, it was...
Stupid teenager crap.
It was stupid teenager crap.
Yeah, but we think that's dumb because we've left those years behind us.
No, I thought that was dumb during those years.
Well, yeah. It's always dumb.
Though now that you mention it, the roller skate scene in the...
I was like, why does he have skates? I didn't see skates before then.
But no, it was just... I mean, Robin could have easily kicked that bully's butt and just...
Bully's butt.
Let him walk all over.
So really, you thought it was stupid because he could have whooped him.
I think he could have handled the situation better than he did.
Yeah, that was my problem, is it felt like... It was just... the way it was written was like... I don't know if Tim would have handled it like that.
Yeah, I don't think
he could have
so
done it
either.
differently. But maybe that's part of his cover, being lame.
I mean, he's still a teenager.
So he's lame.
He's not.
I'm just kidding. Perfect. If our one listener is a teenager, thanks for listening. We don't think you're lame.
Yeah.
Teenage years are hard, man.
Yeah, I don't.
It is.
That's my least favorite.
What about you?
Least favorite.
Yeah, did you have a least favorite scene?
I think the fight between Azrael and the Tallyman kind of dragged on a little too long.
Yes.
So I gotta throw that in as my least favorite.
Is there constant battle during that?
Yeah, it's like, oh, he's shot, he's wounded. Oh, the programming's taking over. Oh, he's fighting again. Oh, he's wounded again. Oh, I've got an arm that's busted, but it's moving on its own. Oh no. Like, could you just make up your mind already? It's like, oh, the programming's taking over. It's like, you know that already. You knew that when, like, at the beginning, when you were fighting with Robin, you're like, oh, this programming, it's in my brain, or the system.
The system's
taking over, but I'm still going to keep doing the same exact things I've been doing the whole time, and I'm not going to change anything.
I feel like I know who your least favorite character is going to be when we ask that question in a minute.
Yeah, you might as well skip me. The answer is pretty obvious.
So my least favorite scene is about 2 issues long, and it's all of the Shadow of the Bat Tallyman comic. Not that I think the Tallyman character didn't seem moderately interesting, like being some kid that got worked by the system because he tried to defend his mom and she killed herself and all that stuff. But here's the thing. That was what I consider my least favorite kind of 80s and 90s art. So that like hyper crazy stylized, like the Tallyman's arm was like a toothpick wide and Batman had like a 24 pack and like
about 48-inch biceps. Yeah,
dude, and like almost non-existent feet. Yeah, and like I mean, really, I mean, that's how it is. Like back then, there's certain artists that get made fun of. I won't say it right now because that'll be a joke that we'll talk about going forward. But like, you're telling me this is a person, like.
Yeah, I thought that was weird sometimes.
And it's just all. I would not be surprised to find out that the artist worked on something like Spawn or something like that. And that's just, for me, that's like my least favorite art from that era. Just not a huge fan. And so really that whole thing was a slog to get through because with comic books, the aesthetic is part of the experience. And I didn't find the story that interesting in that segment. And like Will said, it felt like it dragged out too long. Yeah. And not only that, but then I also had to sit through artwork I didn't really like. So the whole 2 issues of Shadow of the Bat with Tallyman, not my favorite. And again, not that big of an impact to the story. Little tidbits.
Right.
This story, what we read, did not feel like a whole lot happened.
It really didn't.
And I think I'm concerned that we're like a third to a quarter somewhere in there into that. And I'm concerned that it's going to be like that every time. And it's going to feel like it's just dragging along eventually. That's a little bit of a worry of mine.
I feel like they try to do a lot of character building with Azrael.
I think so. But the problem is a lot of it feels like the same. Like it's stuff we know, and it's things here and there. And I just feel like it probably could have been condensed a little bit.
Because there is still a third part of this trilogy. Because it's Nightfall, Knightquest, and then
Night's End.
Night's End.
And I'm sure, and Night's End is when, Bruce will come back and take the cowl. Probably throw down Azrael.
Yeah.
Literally, like down the stairs.
Wow.
Through that brick wall that he built up.
break the wall down with Azrael.
Being like,
but that was my least favorite part of this shebang. Do you have a least favorite character?
Not really.
No,
not this time. I mean, I've been trying to think of something, but
it was like me trying to pick a favorite, kind of.
Yeah, it really was. I don't like that bully just because I didn't like that arc, but I can't really blame it on the bully.
Blame it on the bully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, mine's pretty obvious. That voiced my discontent with Azrael as a character. Just kind of repetitive and boring.
Not a fan of Jean-Paul.
No.
Valley.
Jean-Paul Valley is a boring.
Whiny baby.
Yes, he's a whiny baby. He knows to man up.
If our one listener is French, I apologize.
And if you're not French, we still apologize.
Probably for the best, yeah.
My least favorite character, I don't know. I said I wasn't a big fan of the Tallyman, but it wasn't his character. It was more like the arc. But I would say one of the characters, because I really want to pick one. I kind of feel like you, Pat, where I'm like, I don't know if anybody stood out as just being like I did not like this guy.
Right.
I don't know. So in a way, I kind of agree with both of you. I felt like there are times where Azrael is a bit repetitive, but I don't think he would be to a point where I could say, oh, he was my least favorite character, though. I felt like as a whole, there weren't any outstanding characters that I would be like, oh, I absolutely didn't like them. But there were times where I was like, okay, Azrael, we get it. Or times where I was like, okay, Tallyman, yeah, I can't tell if it's you or Azrael talking. Now, Tim, I never felt like that. That's probably why I said he's probably my favorite character. But
I think not to drag this on any longer than it already has. The problem with
Why?
Azrael,
We're talking about that with the book. We'll just mimic.
Yes. The problem with Azrael is that Bruce is such a good character in my mind that
this is a far step from it.
Yeah, in that first book, you got a lot of, in Nightfall, part 1, you got a lot of Bruce, and it was really good. And now you're stuck with Azrael, and the comparison is night and day in my mind. That
dark night and day.
Yeah, dark night, dark day. That he's just not as good. And so if Bruce was less of a good character, I probably wouldn't care that Azrael is, or Jean-Paul is as bad as he is. So I think that's where my disconnect is. I like Bruce so much more that having to read more of Azrael than Bruce is where my...
You're like, just give me Bruce back. I want the Batman I liked reading.
Just bring the one that's interesting back. Please.
Okay. I get that. So, what would be our out of 5 on this one? What would you do?
Just as a reminder, I think from the last part we left off in this trilogy, you were still at 5.
I was.
But now what would we do? Those batarang
bat symbols.
I was trying to like that those things he shoots, his like little bat razors.
Yeah, his bat blades.
Bat blades. There, we'll call them bat blades.
All right. How many bat blades out of 5?
Yeah. How many of Azrael's bat blades do you give this?
I'm going to say a 4.5.
It's dropped.
It has dropped.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me in comparison. Like, by comparison, Knightquest already compared to the compared to the beginning of Nightfall.
I know, right?
Dude, not even close, though. Like, as far as, like, being like, oh, yeah, you should read this. You know what I mean? Will.
So I think at the end of mine, I was like a 3.5.
Yeah.
I think I'll just maintain that.
You're going to maintain it?
I'm just going to keep until the very end.
So you're going to be repetitive, like...
Unless it changes.
Because, like,
unless it
really goes down.
He's channeling his inner Azrael, too.
Yeah. Wine.
He's not always whining. Sometimes he's yelling.
Whatever.
I do kind of imagine that he's always kind of like grumbling or yelling when he talks. Like, it's very rarely something that would be a normal sound.
Right, I'm sure.
Including when he's like talking to Commissioner Gordon. He's like, you didn't used to do things like this. You used to like build a case. And he's like, well, I'm getting results, aren't I?
Yeah.
I would give this, I think I did a 4 last time, right? 4.5? I don't remember.
Yeah,
I don't know.
4.
Don't care. Doesn't matter.
Don't care.
We should, you know what? I'm going to go back and I'm going to put our ratings with each episode. Ooh. That way we can look at our issues.
Yeah.
And see what we rated each one. I'll do that. I'll go back and put it in the spreadsheet. I'm going to say like 3.5.
Oh, we're in the same boat?
Drop to Will's right now. I thought about giving it a 4 because I still enjoyed parts of it, but there were parts this time that I just straight up did not like or didn't enjoy very much. So I have to drop it a little because that also gives it time that if the next section is really good, I can bump it back up.
Yeah,
sure.
I want that room. I want that room to fluctuate it.
This is a working rating, until we reach the actual end.
Yeah, so this is not my rating for Nightfall as an entire thing.
Yeah, that's what
this was just what I'm rating this portion.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll add them all up. Like, we'll give a final in our last one, like months from now. We'll give a final rating, personal rating, but then we'll add up all of our ratings and see how our average compares to our end opinion. That would be kind of interesting.
It would be.
See how close it is. Next week, we are going to be reading the Spiderverse mini-series they did, right?
Right.
Oh, yeah, because Enter the Spiderverse will be coming out.
Yep. So the new Spider-Man movie, Miles, is back. It's looking super cool. So we will be watching that like we did with Guardians of the Galaxy. And this being a movie we all enjoy the first movie of as well, we're going to check out the comic series that is part of that bigger picture. It's a Spiderverse one that intros even some of the characters from the first movie. I know it has like the mech suit, like the Spider-Mech girl.
Yeah.
She's in the comic series. Like
Nice.
she was first introduced in that. This is the series that debuted Spider-Gwen. This is what she came from.
Cool.
So yeah, I think the series is there's a 2 issues that are called Enter the Spiderverse, I think, and then there's like a 6-issue part that is the Spiderverse, I think. There's spin-offs for that, like different characters have their own like spin-off shorts and stuff like that, but we're gonna primarily look at the first, like that main story. Hopefully it makes sense, because I don't know how much the spin-offs matter.
We'll see.
So we'll see. Yeah.
We will indeed.
We will.
See what it has to hold for us.
We will. That's what Will's mom called him when he was young.
We will.
We will.
We will. If only that were true.
You can't actually say what she called you on this. I'd
This
have
is,
to edit it out.
Family friendly, yeah. We're not allowed to say those words. Just kidding.
Okay.
Just in case Mom was watching this. Or listening.
So you faithful listeners, check out the Spiderverse with us, and we'll catch you on the website. I don't know.
On the website.
Check out our website. Oof. That was bad.
That was pretty bad.
Yeah, that's because we're tired.
All right. Well, I'm Patrick.
This is still Will.
And I'm Chris, and we are Guys with Issues. And now we want to give an update to the Butt Shovel Contest. Right?
I still can't believe we have a contest called the Butt Shovel Contest.
Well, it doesn't have to be called that. It could be called the Guys with Issues first official contest for unofficial merch.
It just happens to be about a butt shovel.
That's a good title.
I mean,
for
the
a
Butt
contest.
Shovel Contest.
So, we've had some
More
good
memorable.
guesses this week. People hard at work. Some of them combing the archives, where we first mentioned Butt Shovels, issue 5, Constantine. And there is something in there that might give a little bit of a direction.
That really was a crazy issue, wasn't it?
It was. But
Shovel.
But what are some of the guesses we've had? Does anybody want?
Snow shovel?
And
Which is not
there's been a car.
proper.
A guess was a car.
There's been a car because it moves your butt.
Yeah, shovels your butt along.
We got a chair.
I know,
We
like
got
a gaming chair, office chair.
Yeah, we got a Ouija board.
Oh, I forgot about the Ouija board. Also, a guess of Pat's monitor way early on.
Way early on.
Well, that was before the contest, but
Right.
it is not Pat's monitor
is
either.
not.
I just wanted to clear that. And
My monitor is definitely butt shovel free.
Now it is.
so I almost so then we've also had a butt shovel, like it's a brand that is for pork butts
For
on
pork
the grill.
butts on the grill. Yep.
Didn't know that was a thing.
Yep. Thanks, Christoph, for being willing to Google search that.
It's a dangerous thing to put in your search history.
Or not. Maybe he'll get a bunch of good
Now there's going
grilling
to be
tools.
I was going to say grilling tools up the wazoo.
Yeah. The wazoo.
Wazoo tools. But yeah. Were there any others? Any other guesses? I've had some people just come up to me saying that they're thinking about it.
That's a weird thing to think about. Be like,
We've
wow, you think about-
poisoned
I'm
you,
thinking about butt
listener.
shovels. No, I think that was everything.
Okay. So, the prize pack, the illustrious prize pack, is still available. Nobody has guessed correctly. And so if you want a prize pack that is worth a Pirate Lord's butt shovel, contact us. Tell us, what is a butt shovel? Where can we get one? Maybe we all need one. So, more to come on that. Good luck.
Doubt.
A ghost butt shovel.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes. And as...
Yes, good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, and may the wind be ever at your back.
There you go. That works too.
Yeah, that works.
Mm-hmm. You can catch the new issue of Guys with Issues each week on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts.
Or check out our website at guyswithissues.com, where you can listen, find reading lists to follow along, and get to know us better.
You can also find us on Instagram at guys_with_issues and on Facebook at Guys with Issues.
Send us emails to longbox@guyswithissues.com and tell us your thoughts or send us suggestions on what we should read next. We would love to hear from our listener.
Trying to pull up my
I'm trying to figure out how to use this.
So
that is called a phone.
So first
Patrick.
off,
you can text people with it. You can
really
call people with it. And nowadays you can even get on this thing called the internet.
What?